Just ahead at 6, an exclusive interview with the daughter of the man convicted just yesterday for sexually assaulting her. Plus, Richard McGahee tells his side of the story today in court as he fights a bribery charge. And a 3 on Your Side alert tonight about those storm chasers trying to take advantage of hailstorm victims.
Now in high definition, 3 on Your Side. This is the WLBT 6 p.m. report.
In Hinds County Court today, Jackson Police veteran Richard McGahee, charged with bribery, took the stand in his own defense. The veteran officer testified that he often loaned money to an informant, Russell Carr, over the years. Now, for the very latest, we go to David Kinney live. David?
Yeah, good afternoon, Marcia. I'm here at the Hinds County Courthouse, which is just across the street from the Jackson Police Department, where in the last few minutes there has been a flurry of activity over there. You can see there are police cars surrounding the building. It was about 10 minutes, maybe 7 minutes to 6 when we saw people fleeing from the building. We heard sirens coming in from all directions. All these squad cars surrounded the building. I talked to a couple ladies who ran out of the building. They told me someone possibly may have been shot on the 3rd floor of the police department, the headquarters down here in downtown. I have seen dozens of officers storming the building, many of them with guns drawn, wearing bullet-resistant vests. We've heard people yelling. We are now looking at a stretcher which is coming into the building on a handicap-accessible ramp on the east side of the building. So there apparently is someone injured inside. We're not sure if they're shot, but that is what I have been told. I saw Police Chief Lee Vance. He is still here. He was pulling officers into the building, directing them on where to go. We saw officers also place crime tape up around the whole block. This whole block is basically a crime scene right now. We're still not sure if there's a gunman on the loose. That's still a possibility right now, but obviously this is a lockdown situation for the Jackson Police Department. Now, earlier today here in Hinds County Court, right across the street, Richard McGahee did come into court, took the stand to tell his side of the story. Richard McGahee took the stand describing his relationship with FBI informant Russell Carr, who helped execute the bribery sting. McGahee said he was a former informant of his and repeatedly sought loans from him.
It was probably in the winter of 2010. I'm not loaning you any money more. Don't ask me about any more money. You already owe me, money. And he always would say, "Well, I've got a job. I'm fixing to get a job in Memphis. Got a job. I'm gonna drive trucks. I'm gonna pay you back."
McGahee said he was surprised when Carr called him in 2011 saying he had money for him, thinking he was finally going to get paid back. Prosecutors say the $250 was the payoff for eliminating an arrest warrant, which McGahee denies.
I never, ever, wouldn't do it, haven't done it. No, I did not do that.
JPD Deputy Chief Eric Walls testified that anytime a confident informant is used, officers need approval from their supervisors. McGahee testified that Carr had been paid for information, but that had been years earlier, and he was no longer working with him. And just to update you, McGahee will be back on the stand tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, and to update you on this situation here at Jackson Police Headquarters. As we said, possibly someone shot inside the building. That's what I was told from 2 women who were walking away from the building. We saw a stretcher being rolled inside. Officers have surrounded the building. It is now a crime scene. They have put crime scene tape up all around the building. You got a couple fire engines here. Pascagoula Street is basically blocked off here at this intersection. JPD brass, many of top officials, Assistant Chief Lee Vance, I saw him. He was still in the building this evening. We're not sure if there's a gunman loose in the area. We saw officers with semi-automatic rifles entering the building wearing bullet-resistant vests. So obviously a very serious situation here at the police department. We're still awaiting official word, but it seems like there's still a flurry of activity here, and this is really a lockdown situation still. We heard officers and saw them coming from all directions. Dozens of officers have now surrounded the building. Not sure exactly sure what is going on inside, but obviously there was a situation where someone was hurt, and officers are now responding here in big numbers. We'll send it back to you, Marcia.
Okay, now, David, if someone has been shot inside that building, for anyone to enter, you have to go through security, a checkpoint. Is that correct?
That is correct. Two women who were leaving the building right as this thing started told me they had heard that someone was shot on the 3rd floor. So at the front door of the police department, you have a security checkpoint there. Now, to get onto an elevator, to get up to the 3rd floor, you would need to have another security ID to get that elevator to work. And I believe the 3rd floor is where detectives are. We even heard testimony in court today about that floor, and it's only detectives, not other officers, who can have access to that floor. You got to have one of these ID cards to get that elevator to work to get up there. So whatever happened on the 3rd floor, we're not sure right now, but we're still watching officers coming in to the building, surrounding it, many of them armed with their weapons drawn. This is an ongoing situation here.
All right, David, we will get back with you if there are any new developments within this newscast. Thank you. Now, tonight, in an exclusive interview, a brave rape victim speaks out after testifying against her own father, a man described as a dangerous serial sexual predator. Wednesday, Bernard Hubbard, a registered sex offender who already had 2 prior convictions for raping children, was sentenced to 30 years for molesting his 11-year-old stepdaughter.
A rapist, a child molester, a person with no heart, no feelings.
We do not identify rape victims, but his daughter, who was also sexually assaulted and raped by her father, wanted to go on camera and speak out.
He used different ways and different techniques to choose his victims, and I wanted him to know that he has caused me 17 years of pain, depression, low self-esteem, feeling neglected, don't trust anyone around my 3 girls.
Hubbard began molesting Angelica when she was 9 years old. He gave her gifts, made her swear on a Bible not to tell he raped her at 13. He pled guilty in 1996. After his release, he continued to prey on children.
Almost like making a contract with me, not to say anything, because he'd get in trouble for it. And now, at this age, I know what he was doing. But at the time, no. I mean, I knew it was something bad, but I didn't know the full extent of what it was. I really thought I could go to hell for it.
Instead, she survived 17 years of hell, she says, before finally having the opportunity to testify against her father and put the man she calls a dangerous predator behind bars for the rest of his life. Now, here in the capital city, a stolen truck was recovered this afternoon off Cedarhurst Drive by Jackson police. Tonight, 18-year-old Andre Jackson is behind bars, charged with, yes, auto burglary. According to JPD officer Calendula Green, Jackson was driving a stolen 2000 Chevy Silverado truck this afternoon when he ran a stop sign on Cedarhurst Drive. And when Jackson police tried to make a traffic stop, well, Jackson and the passenger bailed from that truck. Jackson PD, with the help of Metro 1, found Jackson hiding inside a home on Broadmoor Avenue. He was taken into custody immediately. JPD was unable to find his passenger in that stolen vehicle. And new information at this hour about an accident that claimed the life of a woman and her unborn child. We have learned today that Matt Warren Davis of Hattiesburg received a total of 50 years with 20 suspended. So he'll spend the next 30 years behind bars for this horrific wreck. The 2-car crash happened on Highway 18 in Brandon in October of 2012. Witnesses say the 30-year-old was driving at speeds up to 100 miles an hour when he crossed the center lane and hit Alice Bird's car head on. Investigators found a partially consumed bottle of alcohol in Davis's car. He had a blood alcohol level that was twice the legal limit. This accident was his 3rd DUI. Now, a 3 on your side alert. Mississippi's Commissioner of Insurance is concerned tonight that victims of hail damage property could be cheated by so-called storm chasers. Tonight, we have new information about the business of so-called hail scammers. Bert Case with that report.
Mike Cheney says there could be as many as 70,000 claims from that March 18th hailstorm before it's over. He says so-called storm chasers are trying to convince victims that they can do repair work faster than local legitimate businesses that are almost overwhelmed by the volume of business. Cheney is very concerned about you becoming a victim.
People know that you can't get to them within a week, so the scam artists come out of the woodwork, start telling folks that they can get them a better settlement. And let me tell you, if we catch somebody doing a scam, we're going to try to put them in jail. We work with the AG. He's the guy that goes and gets them, and he will go get them.
Cheney wants people to make sure they are dealing with a legitimate business when they contract for repair work because of the hailstorm.
Deal with your local insurance company. Use local people to repair your house. If you have roof damage, you want a local roofer. You don't want somebody from out of state that doesn't guarantee the work they're doing. You want somebody local you can go back to 6 months from now if you have a problem.
The Commissioner of Insurance says if you have any questions concerning your hail damage claim from the March 18th storm, you should call his office. He has a 1-800 number. It's 1-800-562-2957 for Case WLBT News.
And right now we continue our coverage of breaking news in downtown Jackson at police headquarters. David is there, David Kinney. Apparently someone has been shot inside JPD.
Yeah, we believe that's what happened. That's what two ladies told me leaving the building just before 6 o'clock. It was about 10 minutes to 6 when we saw a flurry of activity here. Officers surrounding the building, coming from all directions, lights and sirens going. Since then, we have seen dozens of officers storm the building. They surrounded the whole block, it looks like, with crime scene tape. We have seen officers entering the building with weapons drawn, some with heavy artillery, semi-automatic weapons. And also, I've seen some of JPD's top brass. Everybody's here. I saw Assistant Chief Lee Vance here. Right now we have, it seems like officers are entering the building in a little more calmly manner, but about 5 minutes ago they were still going in it looked like SWAT formation, you might say, with their weapons drawn, each one in single file. We're not sure what exactly happened here. We have seen one stretcher being taken into the building. The two ladies I talked to initially said the shooting may have happened on the 3rd floor. That's where detectives are located. And as we discussed earlier, to get up there, you got to go through a checkpoint at the front desk. And then to get that elevator to work, you got to use a security pass, which only those detectives have. So we're not sure whoever possibly fired that weapon, how they got up there, but that's what we know right now may have happened here. Possibly a shooting on the 3rd floor of police headquarters down here at the Jackson Police Department.
All right, David, still a lot of confusion and chaos down there. We will get back with David as the developments come into our newsroom. You can be assured we're on top of it. Well, still to come tonight at 6, we'll show you how Hattiesburg is bouncing back from February's powerful twister. Walt Grayson is here with a Making a Difference report. You're watching WLBT 3 on your side.
Next, Entertainment Tonight. Joan Rivers in tears at Johnny Carson's memorial.
I really miss you.
And the latest on The Tonight Show War. Plus, Motown on Broadway. Next, DT.
Weeknights at 6:30 on WLBT.
Life isn't perfect, but we can make every day a little easier with Blossman propane gas in your home, wherever you live. Take comfort in life. Take comfort in Blossman.
Here's the deal. Get a free zone heater or your choice of appliance at dealer cost with select appliance purchase through May.
The Stock Report is sponsored by Volkswagen Jackson.
For answers to legal questions regarding your automobile accident case, visit forthepeople.com, our consumer website. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Keller Maloney's is one of the fastest growing Sealy dealerships in the state of Mississippi. And the reason is we have the lowest price.
Con, maybe it's because we have a large selection of Sealy bedding.
Could be, but I think it's because we have the lowest prices.
Con, maybe it's our great financing or no credit check financing.
Could be, but I think it's because we have the lowest prices.
Bring in any local competitor's ad, and Cowboy Maloney guarantees to beat their price on any Sealy Posturepedic by $100, excluding Cowboy's Power Buys.
We are following breaking news in downtown Jackson this afternoon, where the entire Jackson Police Department headquarters has been cordoned off. Officers everywhere. David Kinney is on the scene with the latest developments. David?
Right. Things down here changing by the minute now. We're learning more information. Joining me now is Joe Barnes. You talked to some people who were inside the building when this thing all went down.
Yeah, David, they told me they were standing in line. One lady told me she was at the ticket counter, and that basically they came in and ordered them all to evacuate the building. There was an officer down, and so that's what they're doing right now, is waiting on the sidewalk, trying to get some more information. They know just about as much as we do at this point.
Right. So once again, officer down, possibly?
Yes.
That's what the people inside, employees?
Yes, that's what employees and also people that were conducting business inside of the police department.
Right. Okay. So once again, this thing happened at about 7 minutes to 6 o'clock. Some people ran out of the building and said that someone had been shot up on the 3rd floor, which is where detectives are housed. I am now seeing some paramedics and first responders walking away, getting in a fire truck. And within a couple moments here, hopefully we can learn more from Jackson Police. I see JPD spokeswoman Calendula Green over here on the corner. She possibly may have new information for us that we can pass along to you. So hopefully we can update you here in a minute. Once again, the building's still surrounded. This block basically locked down by Jackson police officers here at headquarters. For now, we'll send it back to you.
Officer down inside JPD headquarters, as David said tonight. Now, David, what I want to know is how could someone possibly get a gun in there, as you mentioned, maybe on the 3rd floor in order to shoot an officer, or could they have possibly taken a weapon from one of the detectives on the 3rd floor? We all know there's a security system there, and it's pretty intense. We go through it every time we go to the police department. I cannot get on that elevator to go up to the 3rd floor unless an officer puts that ID card up and gives me a ride up personally.
That's right, and there's several steps they have to go through. I think you have to use the card just to get a car down to whatever floor you're on, and then you have to use the card again just to punch a floor you want to go to. Joe Barnes is once again here with some more information. What have you learned?
I was just going to let you guys know that in probably 5-10 minutes, it's going to be a few more minutes. They're waiting on Assistant Chief Lee Vance to come down. He will update us and update the media, and we'll pass that along to you as soon as we can. And officers on scene visibly shaken. Spokeswoman and Officer Calendula Green just spoke with her. She was visibly shaken, and so a lot of emotions down here, and we're still trying to gather some more information, and hopefully we'll have all this confirmed here shortly.
Right. Once again, thank you, Joe. Once again, folks at home just joining us now, we have word that an officer was down here at the Jackson Police Department. That came from JPD employees who were inside the building just before 6 o'clock when they were told to evacuate immediately. The building surrounded by officers now and crime tape. So something obviously has happened here, and we believe it is an officer shot up on the 3rd floor, which is where the Detectives Robbery Homicide Division is located. That's the story from here, Marcia.
All right, David, we're going to get back with you once again as things develop. We do not know the condition of that officer. Our thoughts are with them right now. All right, we'll be back in a moment.
Why would a police officer from Brandon, a pastor from Madison, a nurse from Clinton trust Paul Moak to buy a Honda? Could it be Paul Moak's Comp Check pricing, where we check the competition's price every day on every Honda model and our big selection of pre-owned to make sure you get a price as low as it can go every day, every time, anytime, wherever you live in all of central Mississippi. It's always worth a drive to shop Honda on High Street in Jackson. Log on to paulmoakhonda.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. V. It's free for all at the Sleep Store by Miskelly. Now you can sleep free of sales tax and interest charges because your purchase is tax-free and interest-free. Buy the mattress you want and get an additional 7% off on top of our guaranteed lowest prices. Plus, get free financing for 48 months. Buy the Beauty Rest, Serta, or Sealy you want now because it's tax-free and interest-free. That's a free-for-all, and it's happening at all 5 Sleep Store locations.
And today's the day for Riverwalk's big $80,000 Jockeying for Cash giveaway.
I can't be late.
Fridays and Saturdays in April, 7 to 11 p.m., 3 players each hour move their horse on our racetrack to win cash.
And I'm gonna win. Oh, get out of the way!
Everyone wins, up to $1,000.
Oh, it's down to the wire.
Go jockeying for cash at Riverwalk Casino.
And get happy.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Howard Wilson Chrysler Jeep Dodge.
Free chicken. Almost. Church's is practically giving away its chicken. Get 2 of our juicy on the inside, crunchy on the outside legs and thighs, and a biscuit for
nearly
nothing. This is a limited time offer, so hurry and get a 2-piece leg and thigh and a biscuit for
kinda
free before it's all gone.
Exactly.
Ready to make your property majestic? Majestic Metals wants to be your commercial, residential, agricultural, and industrial building partner. We manufacture our own parts with the finest quality available, so you get it right the first time. Featuring residential steel roofing in a variety of colors. At Majestic Metals, you're our #1 priority. That's why we've been steel solid since 1954. For steel roofing, siding, and everything in between, it's Majestic Metals. Call 1-800-647-8540 or log on majesticmetalsinc.com.
These days, while everyone is finding ways to cut back, you're still making sure that your family gets the meals they love. Right now at Church's, you can pick up 9 mixed pieces of our juicy, hand-breaded, hand-battered chicken for only $9.99. Church's, you bring it home.
Now, your first alert weather with meteorologist Dave Roberts.
And good evening. We have a little light rain falling onto the camera there overlooking downtown Jackson. Cloudy skies right now, but those clouds will be breaking apart here in the next 12 to 24 hours, which is certainly some good news. Current temperature out there right now of 49 degrees with just some light rain, nothing major. Wind is out of the north at 8 miles an hour, so it gives us a wind chill of 45 degrees, certainly a cold one out there. The good news is our future track forecast model says as early as 7 o'clock in the morning, skies may start to thin out a little bit, and that would be some great news. We'll get some sunshine back. If you have plans for lunch tomorrow, should be a nice day to go out and do it because it looks like the clouds will be breaking apart by then, and sunny and warmer conditions will be felt not just by the evening commute, but throughout the upcoming weekend as temperatures rebound into the 70s. Now, by the middle of next week, we could be looking at another round of showers and storms. So your forecast for tonight, 45. It will be cloudy. It will be cold with a little drizzle and some light rain showers around. And then for tomorrow, you can expect starting it off cloudy, winding up sunny with temperatures in the high 60s during the afternoon time. Here's your 7-day forecast with mid to upper 70s this weekend. That is certainly great news after the weather that we've had to deal with the past couple of days. Partly sunny skies. And the rest of your 7-day forecast calling for temperatures to rebound into the low 80s when it comes to next week. Overnight lows in the 60s. We are covering breaking news for you, and we will have an update on the shooting at JPD right after the break.
Change your news forever with personalized Newslink. Sign up today at cspire.com/Newslink.
Tasty chicken, low prices at the Chicken Outlet. Popcorn chicken, 10-pound case, $7.50. Italian breaded chicken strips, 10-pound case, $10. Any way you cook it, we're a crowd pleaser. The Chicken Outlet, Highway 80 in Morton, and now on Airport Road in Pearl across from Raceway.
Put your tax refund to work for you at the Silver Star or Bocoma Casino. Through April, we'll cash your government refund check or a tax preparer loan check up to $5,000 for a $10 fee. Then we give it right back to you. You spin the wheel for a bonus bet reimbursement guaranteeing you $10 and possibly up to $100. That's the Pearl River Refund Reward. Pearl River Resort. It's Vegas with sweet tea.
Tasty chicken, low prices at the Chicken Outlet. Fryer drumsticks, 40-pound case, $26. Breaded chicken breast fillets, 10-pound case, $10. Any way you cook it, we're a crowd pleaser. The Chicken Outlet, Highway 80 in Morton, and now on Airport Road in Pearl across from Raceway.
Tonight, you ask for new community, you got it.
I got a request for you suck at this, get off the stage.
And on Parks and Rec, they're having a baby.
This is really happening. You know there's nothing in there yet, right?
Yes, sorry. New comedy tonight here on NBC.
This weekend at Miskelly's or the Room Store, enjoy a tax-free, interest-free shopping spree. Buy all the furniture you want and get an additional 7% off on top of our low everyday prices. Plus, pay no interest for a full year. And with our same-day delivery, when you buy it today, you get it today. And always at the guaranteed lowest price. The tax-free, interest-free shopping spree. This weekend through Monday at Miskelly's, the Room Store, and Miskelly's in Madison.
It's a fact. Trucks cost less in Forest. Hi, I'm Richard Smith with Forest Chrysler Dodge Jeep. It's simple math. Small town plus nice folks equals big truck savings. We're just east of Brandon. Take Highway 35 north and look for the savings. This 2012 Ram 2500, $10,000 off. This 2012 Ram 1500, rates as low as 0%. Forest Chrysler Dodge Jeep, the air is cleaner, the deals are sweeter, and we just treat you better. It's common sense. Trucks cost less at Forest Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
Mark your decalendars. Lunch will never be the same. The new DQ $5 lunch. For just $5, you get a quarter-pound grill burger with cheese, or 3 chicken strips with gravy, or a chili cheese dog, and then fries, a medium soft drink, and a small sundae as well. All that for just $5. Now that's what I call lunch. I don't know what you've been eating every day around noon, but I would not call it lunch. The new DQ $5 lunch with a DQ sundae.
Oh, your beauty, your grace. I'd like to get my hands on your super hot face.
Double Serenade. Just one of the newest and most popular slots now at Ameristar. More fun.
One day, this will all be yours.
Wow. Thanks, Dad.
Viking Empire. Just one of the newest and most popular slots now at Ameristar. More fun.
During Bat Furniture and Interior's Spring Upholstery event, we've partnered with America's finest makers to offer some of our best values of the year. Let us help you make your home all you want it to be. Join us for our Spring Upholstery event at Bat Furniture and Interiors.
And we continue right now with breaking news. We are directing all of our attention with our crews to downtown Jackson, where crime scene tape surrounds the Jackson Police headquarters. Apparently an officer down, we are told, an officer actually inside JPD headquarters on the 3rd floor. Our David Kinney is there along with Joe Barnes, trying to get the latest developments for you as soon as they can. Anything new that you can tell us? I know you're waiting word from the assistant chief on what happened.
That's right, and it could be a while, because from what I can tell, from what I've seen from these officers out here, this is somebody that all these officers knew. I've seen 20-year veterans walking away with their heads down here. So the fact that we do have most likely have an officer down here is becoming quite evident. The mood here is very somber. You have officers who have come in from all directions, a lot of hung heads now, a lot of officers leaning on each other right now. It seems like a very sad moment here at Jackson Police Headquarters. The whole building now, as you can see, is surrounded by officers just kind of standing here. Earlier it was more of an intense response, but now these officers are coming in, struggling as they walk, heads hung low.
David?
Some of them we've seen crying and bent on one knee. Yes, Marsha.
David, that does not sound good, does it? And what you're seeing out there on the streets of downtown Jackson as these officers exit that building, if they're crying and down on their knees, this sounds very, very serious for the officer or the detective who was shot on the 3rd floor.
It does not look good. I can tell you that I saw Juan Chloe, who was a longtime union representative for Jackson police officers here. I believe he is now the assistant chief in the city of Canton. He was on his knee on the curb crying, and he had other officers consoling him. So we're not sure what member of the Jackson Police Department was involved here, but whoever it is, they obviously had ties, deep ties to officers, current officers, and officers who have left the department and sought greener pastures.
This is a tragic situation possibly developing in downtown Jackson inside the police headquarters. I believe we saw the mayor, Harvey Johnson, in that scene behind a police car talking to officers who were there. And David, let's talk again about security. What we know is reporters, we cannot get inside that building without going through security, nor can anyone else. There is a checkpoint. You have to sign in, and then you have to go up to the third floor or up to the floors, but you're not going to gain access, and no one else is, unless there is an ID card pressed to that button. It is a security mechanism to make sure everyone is safe in that building. So the question tonight, how did this happen?
Right, that's right, Marcia. First of all, you have a checkpoint, a security guard, if you will, not necessarily a sworn officer, right there at the front door. And you also have a metal detector right there at the front door. From there, to get on an elevator up to that third floor where we have been told this allegedly happened, you have to have what is called, I guess, a security card. First, not only get the elevator to where the floor you're on, you also have to get use that security card to get that elevator to move up to the floor you want to go to. Today in court, we heard testimony about, we've been told to move at this point in time, but to get up to that floor, you have to be a JPD detective, basically. Other officers in the police department cannot get up to that floor.
David,
they do not have the access.
David, I know it's chaotic out there.
We got to move this light. We're moving.
I understand, David. Can you tell me if any of the JPD administration worked on that floor? Were there officers offices on the third floor or not? He can't hear me.
Okay.
They're telling us to move our crews and make adjustments. And that looks like the assistant police chief. This is video from earlier. That was the Assistant Police Chief Lee Vance and other officers entering the Jackson Police Department headquarters. Apparently some detectives, plainclothes detectives with that group of officers as well. We are trying to get every tidbit of information we can about this developing story, but what we know is it appears to be a tragic situation with an officer down. You can see officers cordoned off the area immediately. Police cars surrounded that entire block in downtown Jackson shortly after 6 o'clock tonight. Now, you would think after 6, that building has been shut down for the day, and you can see them running in there to find out what's going on to help. We do not know if there was a gunman loose in that building. We still don't know that. If they were obviously trying to make sure that no one exited the building without their knowledge by surrounding the building with police and all of those police cars. You can see emergency responders going in there to help out whoever was shot. And as we are being told tonight, an officer down, a Jackson Police Department officer or a detective has been apparently shot inside the Jackson Police Department headquarters. We do not know the identity of that individual. We do not know his rank or if he worked on the third floor and may have just been there. But what we do know is we're going to stay with this developing news story at Jackson Police Headquarters in downtown Jackson to make sure that we have the very latest information for you. Now, David Kinney, let's go back to you.
Yeah, Marcia, we have been told to move off of the spot we were at. We are now across the street. We possibly could have a media briefing here. We were told to move, that we could have a media briefing over here on the opposite corner from where we were. But just before we left you last time, we saw the stretcher being wheeled out of the building with nobody on it. So if that's a sign, it's not a good one at this point.
Now, David, have you seen any of the administration? Have you actually seen Lee Vance, the assistant chief, or the chief, Rebecca Coleman, at this scene?
Yes, I have. She was here. I actually saw Assistant Chief Lee Vance about 15 minutes ago, and he was directing officers into the building from the front door of the building. We also saw officers entering here on the east side of the building where they have a sally port. The sally port door was up. But once again, this allegedly happened on the 3rd floor. Employees who were rushed out of the building about 10 minutes to 6 actually told us that an officer was down on the 3rd floor and they were told to leave. And also people who were handling business inside the building were told to leave at that point in time. Joining us now is JPD spokeswoman Kalinda LaGreen.
Inside of the Jackson Police Headquarters. The building is secure, and we will have more information disseminated to y'all as it becomes available.
Is an officer down?
That information is not going to be disseminated right now, but we will give you more information once we're available to do so.
What about a suspect?
That's all I can tell you right now.
How long can we expect a media briefing? You said Chief Vance is
Sure. Chief Vance will be down shortly.
Shortly?
Yes.
Yes.
You tell us, did this happen on the 3rd floor in the homicide division?
All I can tell you is that an incident occurred inside our headquarters, and we will have more information as it becomes available.
So that was JPD spokeswoman Kalinda LaGreen just saying that an incident happened inside the police department, and she could not give us any more information other than that. At this point in time, she said that Assistant Chief Lee Vance would be down to brief us. We're not sure when, but that's all that is being told to us at this point here at JPD headquarters.
All right, David. Now, Officer Kalinda LaGreen, we work with her on a daily basis regarding crime. She is the PIO for the Jackson Police Department, has been doing this a long time. She looked visibly upset and shaken. She is winded, you can tell, a lot going on where you are right now in chaos, disarray, but she did not confirm any of the questions that the reporters were asking on the scene. But obviously something very serious has gone on. As you mentioned, repeatedly you're told an officer down in that building. Do you have any idea what the condition of the officer is?
No, but I told you a couple minutes ago that we saw initially when this incident started that a gurney was brought in with 2 paramedics. About 5 minutes ago, we saw those paramedics leave with that gurney and no one was on it, if that gives us a sign of what has actually happened here. In the last couple minutes, we've also seen officers, you may be able to see them down the street consoling each other. You have officers here just breaking down a outflowing of emotions. These officers, this is apparently somebody very important, somebody a lot of officers know. I've seen officers, 20-year veterans, who are visibly shaken up by this incident, just like Kalinda was, her voice trembling as she addressed the press here just a few moments ago. Joining me now is Joe Barnes, who may have more information for us on this situation.
Well, David, just in talking with different people who were inside JPD headquarters, and I asked them, I said, was it an all call or was it just kind of a mass rush of get out of the building? And they all told me that it was just get out of the building. They were trying to rush people out as quickly as possible. And again, at that time, they were also being told there was an officer down. So they are continuing to stand on the sidewalks waiting for more information, just as we are. Obviously, an incident occurred inside JPD headquarters, but they are not confirming any information at this time. And we are continuing to see these a number of officers from multiple agencies out here, and we're just going to wait a few more minutes to try and see what we can get confirmed. David,
can you hear me?
Yes.
Gotcha. I'd like to know if you can find out, or if Joe can find out, what departments were on that 3rd floor. Someone mentioned homicide department. That homicide department is where the detectives are. They investigate murders and very serious crimes all the time on a daily basis. Do you have knowledge that of other departments there, any administrative departments on that 3rd floor?
I'm not sure about administrative departments, but I can tell you I've been up there. You have robbery, homicide, and the detectives are located up there. I do know that several of the top JPD brass, if you will, some of the maybe deputy chiefs, other investigators, they are located on that third floor. We're not sure who could have been involved in this, but that third floor, that's where the more experienced officers, along with the detectives, are located. The people who we would normally call white shirts, the people who wear the white shirts because they have made their way up through the ranks here and have been able to advance in the police department. That is where they are located, up on that third floor. And so we're not sure who this person is, how they were injured, as Calendula said earlier, but whoever it is someone a lot of these officers know.
All right, David. Now, once again, we all saw the video that we had of the stretcher being taken inside JPD shortly after 6 o'clock, so that would be about 35 minutes ago. This apparently happened when a stampede of officers started running in that building and everything went down. But you just told me that you saw that stretcher come out and there was not an injured individual on it.
Right. No one was on that stretcher when they wheeled it out of the building about 5 minutes ago. And you can tell now that there's just officers from all over. I've seen former officers, officers who are no longer with the Jackson Police Department are here right now. And they are consoling each other. They are leaning on each other at this time. So this is apparently someone who may have been with the department for years and years.
So the Jackson Police Department in downtown Jackson is now a crime scene. The entire area roped off with yellow crime scene tape. There goes former chief, there goes Tyrone Lewis, I believe, going into that building. Yes. The Hinds County, head of Hinds County Sheriff, our sheriff, and he obviously is being escorted in with other folks. This is not good.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, the sheriff is surrounded by some of his deputies. I know one of them, the gentleman in the white shirt behind him, is Michael Ivey, who is one of his lieutenants now in the sheriff's department, who came over by way of the Ridgeland Police Department to the sheriff's department. So once again, former Jackson police officers going into police headquarters here.
All right, David, most of those doors are locked. It's normally a very secure place. How someone would gain access tonight is what you're investigating at this hour. How did anyone with a gun get through the checkpoints, up that elevator that is also a secure elevator, and get to the third floor without being detected as having a weapon on their person? This is not probable. It just doesn't seem, it seems surreal is all I can say. I just, you know, we don't hear of these types of things. We know that there have been elsewhere, there have been attacks on other prosecutors as of late that has sent fear factor through a lot of folks in a lot of parts of the country where it's just, we hope that's not the situation here. Once again,
we absolutely don't.
We don't.
We absolutely don't want that to be the situation here, but right now we don't know. But another possible scenario, and we don't want to go too deep into those until the police department actually comes out here and tells us what happened. But the third floor is where officers take people who have been under arrest for various crimes, serious crimes, violent crimes. They have areas there where they interrogate people like that, and obviously there's officers up there who have weapons. So this may not necessarily be a situation where someone came in through security and went up that secured elevator. It could have been someone up there who somehow possibly broke away from officers while they were in custody.
And that is exactly right, because that's what happened a few years back in Atlanta, Georgia, when a prisoner was being escorted up an elevator by a female deputy. he beat her, grabbed her gun, went in the courtroom, and then shot the judge and a number of other people in that tragic event, and then was on the run for a long time before he was eventually captured. Now, as you mentioned, might not have come in with a gun, might have grabbed a gun that was on a police officer, might have grabbed a gun that was on a detective, and then went for the target.
That's possible. That is truly possible. This happened at 6 o'clock, and I'm not sure if they laxed their security at all at the front door at that time, because it is after hours. But we have also had situations here at the police department where people have people, I guess, who are in custody have been able to escape and get out of the building, I guess, from that third floor. I'm not sure how, but it has happened.
Just so many questions at this hour, David, and we're not getting any response. And understandably, from Jackson Police, they're going over a crime scene. They won't talk to us until they can actually disseminate correct information. And in this case, it is obviously a very serious situation, an officer down, a stretcher coming out with no one on it. We have not seen an ambulance take off as we normally would to a local hospital to make sure that in any life-saving effort. So I wish we could tell our viewers more at this hour, except that JPD is a crime scene, someone's down, and it appears to be a very, very serious situation. David, you said that, as mentioned, Calendula Green, the public information officer, came out and gave you guys, it really wasn't even a brief statement. She essentially told you she's not going to tell you anything at this hour. That was about 10 minutes ago. What you're waiting on is the man right there, that is Assistant Chief Lee Vance, who has been at JPD for a long time, well established with that organization, and we're waiting to hear something from him.
And he was here at the building when this incident happened. He had to be, because we were right here across the street, and within minutes I ran across the street, ran into two women leaving the building. They said there had been a shooting and they were told to leave. And then moments later I saw Lee Vance at the front door. So I think there's a very good chance he was here. And once again, yes, we are awaiting word from him, but I think it could be a while because this is a situation involving one of their own. And I would imagine that the information that will be disseminated from the police department may be slow coming because of the fact that this is a internal matter and possibly an officer down. And, you know, just like any other crime, they have to investigate this, but in something like this, I'm sure you have to investigate the crime at the same time you're fighting back emotions. It definitely can't be an easy thing to do.
Oh, absolutely, David. Now, for our viewers who are just joining us, let's reiterate that this is breaking news from downtown Jackson, a shooting inside the Jackson Police Department headquarters, apparently on the third floor of that building. We have not been told much at this time. We have two reporters, David and Joe Barnes, down there on the scene at this hour, trying to collect any information we can. We do know that an officer is down. Homicide division, robbery homicide, located on the third floor. We don't know if this individual came into the police department somehow with a weapon or may have overpowered someone and grabbed a weapon. We just simply don't know at this point who the shooter was, if the shooter has been captured, who the shooter is. We don't know the victim. We don't know the extent of injury. We do know that a stretcher entered that building with paramedics shortly after 6 o'clock, and later the stretcher was removed from the building without anyone on it. Now, this is a very sensitive situation in downtown Jackson. Again, that is a secure building, as David has told you. There are checkpoints at the front when you go in. You have to sign in. Anybody and everybody, including us as reporters, we do the same thing the general public does. If we need to go up to the 3rd floor, the 2nd floor, then they call an officer who has a security badge, and they let us on the elevator up to the 3rd floor. Something's about to develop. Let's go back live.
Are you all right, Grace? Hanging on in there.
Collegial Green is telling us that the sheriff and assistant chief Vance will be coming out to brief the media. She is not going to tell us anything more about what's happening here
put me on speaker
at Jackson Police Headquarters.
Put me on speaker and have everybody listen.
But you can see.
As you can see, a crowd of reporters have gathered round. We have our crews at the scene, and we are about to get a statement from the Jackson Police Department regarding this incident that happened shortly after 6 o'clock at the Jackson Police Department, apparently on the 3rd floor. It looks like Calendula Green there to the left. She is the longtime public information officer, and they're collecting their thoughts, collecting their information that they're going to disseminate to our crews on the scene in downtown Jackson. Obviously, they're waiting on someone else before they break the news. Once again, a shooting, apparently a tragic incident downtown, 3rd floor, JPD. We don't know who it is. We don't know the shooter. We're awaiting word to find out the condition of the individual that was shot, the identity of the individual that was shot. But a lot of emotion, a lot of grief running high around that area tonight in downtown Jackson. It is the hub for legal and for law enforcement. JPD is in front of the Hinds County Sheriff's Department, which is right behind it, and of course across the street, Hinds County Circuit Court, where the most violent cases are heard of crime, and right across the street from that, the City of Jackson's City Hall. The mayor is present. We've seen the Hinds County Sheriff present. We've seen the Assistant Police Chief, Lee Vance, present. A lot of officers, we are told, have been broken down by this. Literally, some crying, some on their knees. Very emotional, very dramatic. We are still awaiting word. And there's our crew, Jim Duncan, with the camera on his shoulder. We have David Kinney there. Apparently they're being told to go back across the street and leave that area where they were trying to go. David Kinney has already been moved once. It's cordoned off. It is a crime scene, and therefore it is restricted. We are not allowed
yeah, Marcia,
to approach.
Just a moment ago, the chief came out of the building along with Assistant Chief Lee Vance. We thought they were coming over to this side of the street, but they apparently told all the photographers to come back over here because some of us started to go over there thinking they were about to give us comment on what exactly occurred here. So once again, we're still in kind of a holding pattern. We now have Joseph Daughtry from the Sheriff's Department coming, and possibly he may have an update for us.
Officer Green, do you have any information about any suspects or anything that we're looking for right now?
He's going to give y'all all that when he comes.
Okay. Officer Green saying that we are going to get all that information.
Okay, so Officer Green saying that Assistant Chief Lee Vance will be coming back over here to talk to us.
Okay, David, those are the two PIOs for the largest law enforcement departments in the city of Jackson. Officer Calendula Green says she's not going to have anything to say, and then you have Hinds County Sheriff's Department Deputy Joseph Daughtry, who also disseminates information to the media as well. They are not speaking. We're waiting on the Assistant Chief Lee Vance to give us any information tonight at this hour. And we're going to stay with this developing story. We're not going anywhere, David.
Right, and this is kind of a joint response now. I've seen a lot of deputies, officials from the Sheriff's Department walking across the street because their offices are just separated here by Congress Street. So this is a situation. A lot of the people, as I said, who are working in the Sheriff's Department are former JPD, like Sheriff Tyrone Lewis. So a lot of these people apparently know whoever this person is, who apparently allegedly has died here or was killed at the police department.
Okay, David.
Just a second. I think we may be close to getting sound here. Maybe some explanation of what's going on here.
Get some more information about what's been going on inside the building there. Also see city spokesman Chris Mims and District Attorney Robert Smith.
All right, David, we see the chief.
Please stay with us here. We're going to have an update right now.
Let me have everybody's attention.
Here we go.
The chief is going to issue a very brief statement just to give the nuts and bolts of what has happened right now. That's going to be it. We're not going to answer any questions once she gets done, okay? So everybody will know what's going to happen before she starts talking, okay? And we're asking for everybody to be very, very patient. It's a tragic situation that we're dealing with right now, and we don't have a lot of answers. That's why we're asking for the patience of the media, but we do realize that the public needs to know what's going on. So as much as we can tell them, the chief is going to tell them right now. Chief Coleman.
Okay.
Y'all moving? She coming through? Yeah, back up, y'all.
Earlier this afternoon, we had made an arrest of a murder suspect that was brought to police headquarters. He was being interviewed on the 3rd floor of the police department. Later we heard that shots had been fired, and upon our arrival we found the suspect is deceased and we have a police officer that's deceased. That's all the information we have at this time. As we get more information, we'll release that information to the media.
Thank you.
Wow.
And you just heard.
So that was Jackson Police Chief Rebecca Coleman telling us that apparently there was a police officer who had brought a suspect up for an interview up on that 3rd floor, and apparently they said that shots were heard coming from that 3rd floor, and then the officer and the suspect were both found shot and deceased. That's what we know right now.
David, apparently it sounds like a struggle ensued, and that somehow the officer may have been shot, the investigator, in the middle of that, and then shot the suspect. And this was a murder suspect, we're told, that was under interrogation on the 3rd floor with that individual as yet unknown individual. Of course, he is deceased, and they're probably contacting next of kin, which is policy.
That's right. And that 3rd floor, like I said earlier, that is where the hardened criminals, the murder suspects here in the city of Jackson, are brought, interrogated. We've covered numerous court cases where they talk and even show the various interrogation rooms up on that 3rd floor. That's where these interviews take place. So very unfortunate incident here at the Jackson Police Department. That 3rd floor, as we said, is a secured floor to get to it, but this was apparently a Jackson Police detective who was interrogating a murder suspect. So it really is too early to speculate, but right now it sounds like somehow this guy was able to get free. Normally, I would imagine they are brought up in handcuffs. We've seen them being brought in and brought out of here in handcuffs earlier today and any other time, but apparently some kind of struggle ensued and shots were fired.
Tragic situation. You and I both know the chief, Rebecca Coleman. Her demeanor clearly, visibly upset. As
yes,
she gave
you could definitely tell.
Yeah, that brief information that you gave.
Yes, not a whole lot. Just a little bit more information.
David? All right, David. Thank you very much. And Joe Barnes as well. We now know that an officer, a detective, possibly an investigator, has been shot and killed on the 3rd floor of the Jackson Police Department. According to Chief Rebecca Coleman, during that brief period with reporters to let us know what was going on, that it was a tragic situation. They're asking for our patience and the public's patience. Officer down has translated now into an officer murdered. by a murder suspect that was on the 3rd floor being interrogated. We can only assume, and this is a total assumption, we do not know, that somehow a struggle ensued and the officers, the investigators' weapon was taken by the murder suspect, who in turn shot him. We don't know how any of this struggle went down, who was shot first, who the suspect is, who the deceased officer is. Our thoughts and prayers are with everyone at JPD and in law enforcement in the city of Jackson.